Hello, friends. We complete our work with third part of our lecture about the experience of philosophy, and today we will talk about the responding to the challenge and the original experience about what we have told in our previous lectures. It is the challenge for us. Always it is challenge. And today we will talk about this experience when we put inside our own nature, our own being, and of course it is only draft of what really happened in philosophical praxis in philosophy-like sphere of life. And because we can't, maybe not me, but not we all, but me can't find somebody who really can show me mm, complex, not complex, maybe who can show me a result of realization this experience. But today we will talk about from position who stand inside this experience and who see different forms of realization it. That's why it's the center of philosophy, how I see it. Okay, and we will talk about double overturn. It means that we will talk about strange position of philosopher who really somebody who really stand not on the legs but on his head. It's strange, but what it's mean when we will mm, we will not joke about this, but we will try to understand it. Okay, and nevertheless, I will start from little joke from my side. Of course, it's style of Carol Lewis, but it is not text of Carol Lewis, but it's the text shortly show what we find when we talk about philosophy and we have a meeting with philosophical thinking. It this really it's like overtone, yes. uh, and first step, I repeat only one moment here. It is this. Oh, I bet that when I will despair for you, when I will stand before you and in the same place and right next to you. It's a metaphor for explanation what really happened in this sphere. Of course, I must say that it is not specific only philosophy. We can catch different very specific features of the same experience in religion and arts, the same when we talk about really very deep level of realization experience of religion and art too. But today we will talk about philosophy. Okay, Overturn first, life, praxis, and activity. When we talk about philosophy, how I have said, it's strange because when we try to talk about something, you hear what have said your philosopher in front of you, who stand in front of you, and you hear it and when you understand what he said, it's strange because you think that it is not about you, not about what you ask him, but it is the same situation. For example, when we talk about life, for philosophy and for philosopher. Really, it will be talk not about life and praxis and activity. It will be talk about knowledge, theory. It will be talk about the specific knowledge of philosophy and the essence of very specific way of understanding something in reality. And here formula of this position: to live and act in order to know, to be aware. Um, of course, when we talk about this way, uh, it is strange, and it's a fact of the very intensive life, very big concentration, and that's why really we always find the not philosopher but his shadow. It means that we usually, when we not hold my own position, like for example, I can't hold my own consciousness and awareness in center of this transformation, overturn. Of course, I will be stand from uh, on. I will be like outsider. Yes, I will be stand mm, about, but not in the center. It's mean that I will stand like abstract thinker. It's thinker who have now his own life in his thinking. He it is thinker who can't hold his consciousness in life and praxis and activity. And of course, you'll be all see here abstract thinker and, for example, theorist, idealist, ideally the same idea, metaphysician, the same idea. It is like shadow of philosopher and philosophical way of thinking. Oh, and it is strange formula. Previous this formula is strange, but here formula it's more not so strange as we can to think about these. Okay, and we offer our colleague and philosophy who stand before us, and we ask him, and we offer him talk about knowledge. Okay, you can't say something very definite for me about life, like praxis. Okay, say me about the knowledge, theory, about thinking. And of course, as you know, in this moment, this person will try talk about the life, praxis, and etc. Okay, but what the cause of this? Cause of this consists in what? Because the formula of this position, it's second overturn. Yes, it's transformation again. We must hold another position, controversial position, and that's why, for me, like for example, to know something, it's mean to be like embodiment of this knowledge. It's usual quotes when aphorism, when somebody talk, you must do only what you think. Yes, it's must be, for example, another, it must be something the same what you say and your behavior and your life must be correspondence between two the sphere, the same idea in this formula. But when we can't hold this tense, yes, energy, we can't, and we lose it, like philosopher and thinking. It is only of course for explanation, you know, this metaphor, but we we all can stand in this position. And when I, like this figure can hold this tense in my side, of course I will realize my life and my praxis like a abstract practitioner, embodying knowledge in front of myself. It's mean that I will be a revolutionary, tyrant, or ruler, for example. It's metaphor, of course, too, without any connotations, negative connotations. Ruler. I will try to live the whole social life. I will feel something from political sphere. I will try to realize myself in this sphere. It's another form of realization, this intuition about what we try to talk. Of course, I will talk about this more concretely. This I must say about only the moment in how in common features. Yes. Um, and of course, when we talk about shadows of philosophers, about shadow of philosophical life, of course, we can't talk that it's um, something contradictory to philosophical life. It is shadow. It is alienation of this life, this center, but it is two realization position, philosophical positions. It's very interesting because, and we will see it in next slide, where the whole consciousness in philosophical sphere will realized in two controversial positions, like a thinker and abstract praxis, for example, ruler. It's two versions of the first and original intuition. It's one consciousness what realize the essence of itself into these contradictional forms. Okay, it is only comments. Yes, not a benefit for me. Like a thinker who must try to explain something correctly. Yes, exactly. Very important when we talk about alienations, negation of philosophical essential life. We must remember that it is two embodiment of this life. It is too important for understanding what really happened in this sphere. It's very interesting too. Uh, okay, that's why we talk like a step towards, not retreat. Yes, back. Okay, this formal, that's why, the same idea. Okay, I correct this now. Okay, next step. And I repeat the idea about what I have told, but with details. Yes. Okay, I will talk about first step, about thinking, knowledge, and theory. It's the way where I try. Okay, I repeat this problem for my explanation. When we talk about with philosophers whom we ask, what is the knowledge, what are they thinking, what is theory, theory, and this person will talk about praxis. When we ask him about praxis, he will talk about theory and thinking. Why? And it is very interesting moment, and I will explain the basic intuitions in philosophical sphere. For philosophy, thinking, and more correctly, knowledge, it is not something abstract. I'm sorry. It is something, as we know from theory of Kant, deep inside, in sphere of theoretical reason, we can find the practical praxis, we can find the practical reason. It means that we can find the will, the feeling, the challenge that we count to respond to challenge. It's feeling that we can't. It's a fact of abundance. More correctly, I might say that when we have an experience of understanding something, for example, I solely for myself understand something, I catch the essence of it. It's moment then my theoretical position transform in practical position. For example, in that moment, I catch hand my sister, brother, or somebody else, and I try to talk about what its activity. Next step about after that, I will try to realize it in my life. And more exactly, I must say that we always realize it in our life when we really understand something, really deeply understand something. It transforms our vision of reality. That's why when we have a situation talking about thinking and knowledge, it's something what um, up our conscience in sphere of will. In this moment, we talk not about abstract knowledge, we talk about our person, about something, about our values, for example, something what very so important for our life, more important for our than our life. It is very strange transformation, but it is so really when we catch essence of something, we wake up and realize activity. And here, of course, we stand in this moment, we stand in sphere of praxis. Yes. And of course, it is another talk. Yes. But I must explain these moments of this part. What mean these stay okay? Yes, it's mean that um, when I understand something deeply, it moment when I have a transformation my own person, self consciousness, self understanding. That's why delf limit end. It's mean that my first self consciousness end. It's symbolic as reality because for me this transformation my self-understanding, it's transformation for me reality, the world vision. But for me always world and reality, it is vision and experience of the world. Okay, what mean this? It is this line, it's depth, symbolic transformation, like real transformation for me. And what is lines and what show it? Alienation, of course. Of course, when we talk about abstract theories, for example, somebody who talk about different ideological ideas, for example, yes, social ideas. Not always, but I mean that it is always metaphysician. It's always metaphysician. What does it mean? When we wake up and stand in this very tense sphere, very intensive sphere, yes? It's moment when we can't hold it longer. That's why, for myself, I close my inner eye and what's happened with me? I transform my vision after this experience and I see something. Remember the previous experience of understanding without awareness of this. It's metaphysician position. It's position of metaphysician. its position of abstract theorist. What the abstract? I don't remember. I try. Forget about the experience of feeling that I feel the challenge, the experience of awareness, something. It's experience of surprise. I can't feel this surprise all time my life. It's impossible. That's why I transform my vision and stand on metaphysical position. What essence of this position? It is metaphysician vision of reality consists in what? I see something what not exist before me. I talk about meta. From Greece, it's mean something what above the reality, what I can see only by my inner vision, intellectual intuition, for example. But Kant show us that it is not so. It is mean that only my will and my self-understanding, uh, self-understanding, projecting that sphere, its transcendental ideas, meaning from theory of Kant, and from that help me to organize my reality. But this activity, because this idea, metaphysician idea, it's practical idea. It's an idea what help me to have a practical life. But metaphysician try to forget about this. He not find his will behind his own consciousness. He lose understanding that when he taught when he talked about the ideas about ideas of God, about different social utopia and etc. It is talking not his reason, it is talking his values, it's talking his heart, it is talking his will. It's very important for understanding. And when we realize this talking and thinking without understanding these moments, for example, in modern philosophy, very correctly about this talk, postmodernism, existentialism, Marxism, philosophy, theory of Nietzsche, exactly talk about these moments. Okay, very important moment. Only what? Okay, it is this sphere here. Okay, we explain this. But when we talk about praxis, I repeat, the main intuition when we ask the philosopher, he talk about another, not about what I controversial moments, about what we not ask him. Okay, try again ask our philosopher about this situation. Okay, same about praxis. We remember what happened with us, yes? And here we must explain why. Again, what the cause of it. And here we must say, when we are asked about praxis, it is not only abstract activity, it is realization my understanding, it is realization my goals, it is always something what I can understand. Without it, it is only abstract activity, it is not praxis. And we ask again, what mean the praxis for you, like philosopher? And here we must remember about, for example, arts and religion. The same idea will be here. Philosopher answer me or you, and he says so. Praxis, it's instrument for understanding myself. It's mean that only when in my praxis I touch the limit of my life. It's a real death and a real limit. It's a real situation when I stand before my death, for example, or something what impossible for me. The same idea. It's maybe, for example, love for me. Yes, it's situation meeting Plato and his teacher Socrates. I think that it's the same idea, because this meeting with Plato happened something impossible. He transformed all his own life. It is not only death, like a limit for me. Yes, it's maybe person who stand before me. And when I realized this praxis and complete it, I stand before the end. And what happened with me? I wake up again, but I wake up in another side. It means that I open my vision, I open my reason only in this final moment, not before. Usually, when we have our common life, usual life, we try to lose this situation happen with us, and it's true. It's right. But for philosophy and religion, and for um, everybody who try to understand really himself, and about what we told in our previous lectures, this person will try to stand more closely to this moment, because only this moment can show us what we really and what real essence of our nature. And only this moment when I can't to see myself like something real and true. Usually we all know that usually we have situation when we lie myself, we lie all our life. It's strange, but it's so. The only situation on stand on limit line, we have a chance to catch our essence. And that's why help yourself, help our for example brother or friend, close friend, yes, and etc. It's very important moment. Praxis, it is moment when I realize this final line, final limit, and etc. Of course, it's moment awareness, it's moment amazement, and of course, it's moment passive position in voluntarians. The same idea, in other words, will, activity, uh, passive position without will, yes. Of course, when we talk about the praxis, we of course can um, realize alienation in this sphere too, and what it will be for us. Of course, it will be situation when we will try to hold our reality, realized our reality. It is position when we stand this moment, when we something final happen with us. It's moment when we touch the reality how it is, and it's moment when we will when we try realize alienation of its moment of state my consciousness, state my nature. Of course, I will try um, its moment of embodiment. Of course, for me, it's position like God. It's moment when I will try to embodiment the new world. But for us, like human, it is not so. We're not gods. We can only create the social world. And for us, it's moment when we, of course, I will not talk longer about this, but for us, really, it's so something what we can say that it's really so. It is reality. It is not something what exists before us like material thing. Not. It is something, and because not all reality it is only a material thing in our life. For example, my values, it's something very, very, very real, but I can't feel it in my external feelings. Yes, I mean what? Perception. I have no any perception of these values. I mean that it is something what really can show us reality. It is eyes before us. When two eyes who stand before each other and see something the same, these eyes show me that it is reality. It is only one, because we are not animal. We are not something and somebody who touch, and that's why it is really no. Only vision from another human, another person. It's really somebody and something what occurs in my own mind, the experience of reality, that my values, my ideas, it is really something real. That's why. Okay, praxis, it is moment by what I can understand something. And I, of course, it's another understanding what we have here. And you see that this line the same. It's one line. And of course, it's experience one. But we realize this experience from another points, from another sides, controversial sides, but the one experience. It's the same experience about what we talk about in our first lectures, the same experience of tragedy. We can't hold this tense. That's why we realized alienation. Okay. Um, and here I must say about not sphere without alienation. It is philosophical praxis, like we talk about this, and this praxis, it is like uh, in quotes mark, yes. Why? Because it's realization experience in another form. You see here the point, it is cycle. It's movement and cycle. It's symbol of transformation. I can stand here and stand like and see something like metaphysician, metaphor, Aristotle and Hegel. It is not so, but it is only metaphor for explanation. And but in this moment when I talk about thinking and knowledge, yes, when we ask philosopher, and I have a choice before me, and I can choose this or I can choose this. What it mean? It's mean then I uh, have experience of understanding, catching something amazing in intellectual sphere. I touch my how we have said it. I touch my values, and after that, I have a goal. What stand behind my activity, or I can talk like metaphysician about idea of God. Yes, about idea of soul. These metaphysician positions. ideas. It's practical ideas. That's why Kant said, when we talk about metaphysical theoretical reason, his work, critic of theoretical reason, we have a deal with the real goal in life, the final goal in life. When we have a real integrity for praxis and life, we always will have a remember about the final ideas, but we will remember about these ideas in our practice now. It's criteria by what I can distinguish usual praxis and philosophical or true religious praxis or praxis in art. I can't. I can't. Okay, I can to distinguish it. It's very important. Goal or idea of the God. If I have about final goal of my life, but not talk about God, I have a praxis like a philosopher. It's very important. And what we can say about thinking and thinking here, it's situation of problem. Yes. Why? Because when I realize my praxis, and in this moment I have experience of, for example, amazement, something I have a fear, and etc. It's to experience help me open my reason, yes, and lose shadows of my reason. This moment again, it's moment of transformation where I have choice. For example, realized alienation and try to realize myself like a ruler or revolutionary and etc. It is not only this, it's a different, another form of realization, this experience like alienation. But we remember that we have said about shadows of philosopher. We must say that it is alienation, but it is not something bad. It is embodiment, historical embodiment too, of this center of experience of philosophy. But we have here and another choice. For example, here I can formulate for myself problem. And again, it is final problem of my life. Here and here, you know, it is, for example, only by this problem, final problem, I can talk about wholeness of thinking. I can talk about real process of thinking. I can talk about philosophical, like phenomena of previous notions, thinking. Yes, it's only by that notion, by that moment, by this final problem, yes, I can talk about the real process of thinking. Without this problem, final problem of my life, by what I open my consciousness, I can't talk about philosophical thinking, like a real thinking, yes. It's very important. This sphere is sphere of very intensive life. This sphere, the same sphere for example, how it said Mamardashvili, Mirab Konstantinovich Mamardashvili, and Petigorsky, for example, we can write here not philosophical. We can write here, for example, religion praxis or art praxis and etc. And of course, that's why we have here another transformation. And here you see these theory and praxis, yes, quotes Marx. It means that it is fear of embodiment and alienation. It is what we see when we talk about philosophy, when we stand from third person vision. Yes, when we talk not inside from philosophy, from first person vision, it is in order. It is third person vision. It is first person vision. These distinguish to these spheres. But I repeat it again, this experience, the same. Okay, I think it was difficult, but we made it. Okay, final part. I will try very shortly talk about this because it's need for complete our work. Okay. Here I say, here I must say that I stop and repeat again. I repeat again that not repeat. I start again, and I try to enter again from another point. When I will talk about philosophy like a praxis in theory, theoretical solution. I must say that what we have said and what I will say now, it's different spheres, but I must say that between these spheres exists correlation. But today I can't show you the way of correlations between these spheres. That's why I must say that it's like my my return and attempt again to catch the essence of philosophy, like praxis and unity of practical and theoretical activity. It is something what like series. Yes, I can show the correlation between this step and previous step, but I know that this correlation and integrity exist. I hope that in next lectures and my researchers maybe I will can to show it. Okay, I'm sorry, it's my mistake. I will talk about philosophy like a sphere from third position. Yes, I remember that it's theory and praxis, and here we will talk about praxis and theoretical solutions. Yes, we will talk about philosophy from third person vision. Okay, I try. And A, praxis. Praxis of ignorance, what it's mean, and requirements of integrity. Okay. When we talk about philosophy, again, and we talk about philosophy not like abstract sphere of thinking, but about something what life in our usual life, we must say it's mean that all people can be like philosophers. It's mean this. We have only two main ways of answer to challenge, respond to challenge from to future, to that experience about what we talk about, like about experience of philosophy. It's really experience of life, because tragedy, it is formula of our life. Yes, I think that we can say so. And what we can what we must do for holding this situation. Of course, we have to only two ways. First ways, and it's always a practice of ignorance. its praxis. I mean, Nikolai Kozansky, like a first who talked about this way about philosophy, like knowing about that way of knowing about ignorance. Yes, it's not correctly scientific ignorance. Okay, it's notion of Nikolai Kozansky. Intuitive. Intuitive, it's of course when I try to find in myself the answer to challenge what show me my life and reality. It's in philosophy, it's request for thinking and for thinkers. You must be in unity with all subject, all object about what you must talk. You must talk only about praxis what you had in your past. Without it, you can't talk about something. You must talk about yourself, not in future. You must talk only about somebody, about yourself only in past. And we remember about dialectic. Yes, it's very interesting logic because this logic of transformation my own identity like something what exists in integrity with reality. I transform my vision, I transform my identity, my self-understanding, and in the same moment I transform reality before me. It's very interesting and important. Intuitive way, it's a way when I try to find in myself something objective and I hold it and use it like instrument for realization the my life. Solve the basic problem of life. Yes. Another way, but it is mystical. For example, you can we can use it metaphor. It's like mystical way. Yes, I must feel, but it's really so very close moment exists with philosophical praxis and mystical praxis itself. That's why, for example, very rational thinker, as I know, uh, Hegel talk about speculative logic, speculative, and he talked about he told about uh, the speculative logic. It's like mystical logic because the intuition of understanding in that logic the same. This experience of vision God talk Hegel. When we try to talk about this experience, you will talk and use dialectical logic because this will be logic of transformation your own nature. That's why it is first way, and it is answer to challenge of future for us because we don't know what really help in future. Okay, next step, experimental way, test of the world. What it mean? It's mean that I try to understand what happened with me now, and I hold the awareness, and I try formulate where exactly what happened with me. I try realize the idea and try embodiment this idea in life. I not believe in my intuition. I believe in my experience. Experience not mystical, but very, very, very clear, very rational. This experience for me, it is experience my feeling, perception, for example. And I believe only something what happened only with me. And I try to catch the essence of my mistakes, what happened with me and what I realized in my life. Only by this mistake I study something. This way, basically, mm, based on the request, for example, for thinkers and people. It's request for this request about that. It's request that we must um, we must have awareness, understanding what we realize. We must have a distance between something about what you want to say something. If you have a unity with this, you can't say true. You can't say something true. You lose your your truth if you have integrity with the subject. That's why this request. You must have a distance. You must distinguish yourself from this object. If you want to have knowledge, you must be another altitude to this object. Okay, but when we talk about philosophy, of course, these controversial ways must be integrated. It is so because firstly, our own nature, it is to this objects. It is something what exists before me. My body, for example, yes, it's something what exists before me. And my consciousness and my nature, like I try only touch it and I don't know. Of course, I'm something what I embodiment, but I'm something what stand before me because I feel and aware my body, for example. In philosophy and philosophical thinking, it is two basic requests. And when we try to talk about something what with it we have integrity and unity, and the same moment you must talk about this like a something what you with it you have a distance, distinguish. You must distinguish yourself from this object in one moment. Of course, it's paradox. It's impossible. But it's possible only by stepping back. It's a metaphor you must know, of course. In future, it's back, uh, stepping back. It's like how would it explain? It's the basic metaphor for explanation the development of consciousness, for example, in phenomenology of spirit, of mind of Hegel. It's the very interesting work of Hegel. It's moment coming to yourself. Yes, wake up. It's moment when you stand not here but before you. This self-distinguishing. Okay, another intuition, what expressed by another philosopher at Heidegger. He talked about coming from future, from what was. It means that future, it is not something what will, but yes, okay, I say in order, when you can realize this integrity to these ways, requests in your life and your thinking and praxis too, you will have a you will have a experience when for you will meeting from future something what stand behind you, back of you. It's strange, but it's formula of real understanding in philosophy. That's why when we talk about the philosophy, we must talk about unity of praxis and theory. We talk about unity of intuitive and experimental way of understanding reality. That's why It is what we must say, for example, uh, how to say in English, it's the basic idea of Vladimir Solovyov, Russian philosopher of 19th century. He talked about всеединство, about integrity, arts, philosophy, and religion in one experience. The same idea we can find in another form, for example, Hegel and Schelling and another thinkers. Okay, final step. And of course, when we talk about praxis, we must say something about theoretical solutions. I will not talk the details about these. I must say that it is metaphysical, because in this sphere, when we talk about not vision from third person, from inside, yes, we will talk about theoretical construction. And of course, it is not exactly in our moment. That's why it will be metaphysical, philosophical, existential metaphysics. And for me, it's important to say it's not the main way of my explanations. It's important for me because by this slide, I show again about the grounds my own discourse, what I show you. Yes, that's why it's important. Say me again. It's self-reference. Venice, theoretical Venice. And very shortly, the idea of this theory and theoretical position from my side consists in what? It's open-mindedness as a synthetic activity of consciousness. Of course, it's more currently for specialists who know about theory of Kant. But its idea that the synthetic activity by what I construct the world, its idea of the Kant, it's activity not myself like this human person, yes, it's activity of transcendental consciousness. This activity by what I create like a transcendental subject, I create this reality. This activity have a correlation with what we talk about opening our consciousness. It's activity by what I can hold the reality in wholeness. It's activity by what I can, I repeat it again, I will stand in situation of problem and go in one moment because it's impossible in our usual life. But when we open our existence, awareness, when we open our reason in this mean, of course, it will be the same, have a final goal in our life and have an open problematical thinking. Only by this you can realize the philosophical implementation of experience. You can real life. You can have a real life. It's that's all, I think. That's why, for example, Kant talk about the antinomy in his own theory. Antinomy, it's problem, theoretical problem. It's something what we can't solve. We can't unite. We can't unite these antinomy, sides of this antinomy. We can't decide it. That's why, said Kant, we must stand directly. Okay, I think it's the basic idea of all philosophy and the philosophy, classical philosophy too. Of course, it's interpretation. I repeat the idea what I have said in first part. It is one way of complication, yes, integrity, these elements, because my own experience, only my experience can give me essential moments for explanation, theory of history of philosophy and these theories. Okay, but this is another story, and I think that today it is oh, I hope not all things was difficult for understanding, and I hope something was interesting for you. And I wish you success in our studies, in your studies firstly. That's all. Thank you very much for your attention.